Hello everyone, welcome to this new Talkie Pwnii video. I firstly wanted to wish you all an happy new year. And I wish you obviously a lot of bugs for this new year. So today we're gonna talk about Android Recon. So through this video we will see how to download and how to extract APK, and we will see how to map some interesting attack surfaces. So let's go. So firstly, on this we hack on the public programs, you can see that there is a lot of mobile application. So if I go on Dailymotion, we will see on the scope part that we have Android 1 and iOS 1. So as you can see, the program typically gave us the link to download it to the Play Store. So mainly, you will see that programs are doing that, but sometimes they can directly give you an APK file if they want, for example, to give you a debuggable one. So what we can do when we have the link to download the application and to extract it later to dig into. Firstly, the easiest part, we can directly download it to the Play Store if you have JADX downloaded on your phone. That you will see that sometimes it could be a little bit annoying. For an example, if the application is only downloadable in some countries that you're not, it could be annoying because you have to change it into your Google account. So sometimes that's annoying, but there is a lot of other way to do if you don't have the JADX or if you're not located on the right place. The easiest way to do that is to use a website like APKTool, APK Combo. There is a lot of websites like that. So you can directly search the application here. For example, if I'm looking for Instagram, you will see that I can directly download the APK file. So just be careful when you download the application to another place than the official Play Store. Always think about verifying the signature to see if the application is the right one you're trying to test. Another cool way to download the application is to use APK. APK is a Rust command line tool that makes you able to directly download APK on command line to have it on your desktop, and to after that install it to ADB install on the phone, or directly decompiling it to dig into. APK is basically based on APKTool, so by design it will download the APK you want to APKTool. So as you can see, if I do APK -a with the name of the package I'm looking for, you will see that it will just be downloaded to APKTool, and that's really easy like that. And so I'm using the package name, and if you want to retrieve the package name really easily, you will see that in the program description, the link, the Google Play Store link, is directly giving you the package name here. Something really cool with APK is that you can directly download APK to the Google Play Store. And how to do that is really easy. You just need to go into the embedded setup page of Google, after that login, and at the end you can retrieve the token into your cookie tab, and you can use this token with APK to directly download APK to the Google Play Store. Why it's interesting to do that? Because sometimes some application will not be directly on APKTool. So it could be interesting to do that in some case. So to do my test, I'm using Bugbazaar, which is an APK you can find on GitHub. It's basically a kind of challenge in which you have many vulnerabilities on one application. So I download the application directly to the last release, and after that, if I want to easily install the APK in my phone, I can use ADB install. And how to do if I download and install the application directly to my phone with the Google app, I can easily retrieve the package. So I can use ADB shell pm list package to list all the package installed on the phone. So you can see that here the package of Bugbazaar is called com.bugbazaar, and now I will need to locate the full path of this application to retrieve it and download it to directly have it locally on my desktop. So I can use pm path with the name I previously retrieved, and when I retrieve the full path of the application, I can basically use the ADB pool with the full path to get locally the application. And as you can see, I successfully get the application in my local computer. So as you can see here, for example, with Instagram, this application is on XAPK. So into the XAPK, you will find multiple APK files. So you firstly have the base APK, and you secondly have a different APK file made for different kind of architecture. So as you can guess, the base APK file is the main one, But this is not the only interesting one, because in the other version for the other architecture, you could maybe have some interesting process into. So when you want to decompile and analyze an application, all well thinks about having a look to everything and not only the base APK. So we're gonna talk about APKTool. So this tool is basically made to do some reverse engineering on Android APK files. And so to download APKTool, you can directly go into the GitHub and take the last release. As you can see in the style option, we worked on our last article. And so to do that, I'm just using the option D to decompile and -O for the output. So why we are using APKTool? So it's really important to understand the architecture of the application. So you can do that with APKTool or JADX or other tool we're gonna see later. So by doing that, you can easily target which components are exposed and what kind of permission, for example, it could request, if you have information leaking, etc. So as you can see, everything is on Smiley. So what is Smiley? It's some readable bytecode that represent the application logic. As you can see here, you have the manifest. So this is basically the declaration file that lists every component of the application. As you can see here, I have the declaration of multiple intents, and that's really interesting for our future investigation. And as you can see at the beginning, you have all the declaration of permission too. And now we will talk about JADX. So the difference between APKTool and JADX is that APKTool, as you saw, decompile the application into Smiley, which is the human readable representation of the Dalvik bytecode. And so yeah, so that's not the easiest way to read the code of the application. But the cool thing is that with APKTool, when you decompile the application, if you want to edit something, recompile the application again and resend the application, you can. And so yeah, so the difference with JADX is that JADX will decompile the text bytecode typically into Java source code, which is way easier to read and understand. So as you can see here, I'm using the graphical version of JADX, but obviously you have a command line one. So I really recommend to use the graphical one because you have a lot of cool things. So for an example here, you can see that I am on the address database helper file. So as you can see, there is a lot of declaration doing some SQL query. So as you can see in the address content provider file, I have a lot of things, and I have a lot of different functions that I never saw and I didn't know. So I can directly click on it and I will be redirected to the file with the declaration of the function. So that's really helpful, and yeah, that's quicker to understand each part of the code. And the search feature is really efficient and works really well. And yeah, just a funny fact, here you can click on load all or load more, because it will not load everything when you're doing a research. So sometimes you can miss something, and it happened to me a lot of times in the past. So yeah, so think about that. There is a little button here. So yeah, so as you can see, it's way better and way easier to read Java source code like that. Obviously, this is not the exact same code as it has been developed by developers, but I think this is the best way to read the code and understand easily how the application is working. Now we're gonna talk about APK2URL, which is a little tool that is really helpful. With APK2URL, you have the possibility to quickly and automatically extract every link of the application. You can extract URL, path, and IP. Okay, so as you can see, it successfully extract endpoints of the application, and as you can see, I have a lot of different links, a lot of different endpoints. So this can be really useful if you want to, for example, discover hidden API endpoints or that kind of things. But a lot of things can be done automatically and very quickly with MobSF. So I particularly appreciate this tool. I honestly think this is one of the best, if this is not the best tool to do recon in a mobile application, in Android application. This tool is a complex framework that lets you that decompile the application to retrieve a lot of information, and we will see how. So you have the possibility to download locally MobSF, but I think it's annoying for nothing. Directly use the Docker image. It works well and it's quicker. So as you can see, we have an interface. So the login is basically MobSF. So I uploaded my purpose application to show you what the output will be and what we can discover with that. MobSF is a really powerful framework that decompiles the application and to retrieve sensible and interesting information. So it will give you information about the web views, about the secrets of the application, about some version of libraries, for example, about hard-coded endpoints, a lot of things that we will see just after. So in my example, I'm using the static analysis of MobSF, but you can obviously do it dynamically. So with our purpose application, here you can retrieve all the permission we saw previously by decompiling the application with APKTool and having a look to the Android manifest XML. So yeah, so that's the way it's like that, because as you can see, everything have a specific status that directly tell if it could be dangerous or not. So you have other information regarding the manifest. So as you can see, for example, here the application could be downloaded with a really old Android version. You have a lot of things. This thing is really interesting. For example, as you can see, debuggable is enabled in this application, so it's interesting for us. One of the most interesting part is the code analysis. As you can see, it will directly highlight some issue. For example, remote review debugging is enabled, so that's really interesting. And if I click here on the link, I will directly be redirected to the interesting part of the code. So as you can see, it has been decompiled with JADX again. And as you can see here in my web view definition, I have the set web content is debugging enabled to true. So yeah, so that's really helpful, as I told you, to have a look quickly to in this example with the web view configuration, but it's not all, as you can guess. And here, as you can see, it detects that the SQL database execute raw SQL query, which could be really annoying in the case of SQL injection. So if I click on save file again, I will be redirected to the interesting ports here and here. And another cool things about MobSF is that it will get all the string of the application and will detect with some specific pattern if it match or not secrets. So here I have the Google APK, which is not a secret, but sometimes in real web application you can discover some critical information here, and that's really nice. And yeah, so you will see that mainly it's because developer forgot to remove API key. And yeah, so when you discover an API key, obviously try to discover what is the component behind, so and how to use it to prove that you can do interesting things with. So don't report a leaking like that. Go deeper and yeah, try to use it without doing any damage to prove that it's impactful for the company. MobSF match to Firebase key, so it will automatically retrieve the Firebase key and do the link to the remote config if it's enabled, to see if it's possible to retrieve interesting information about the Firebase. I won't talk more about that, but if you want, you have another cool tool, which is Mara. The development of Mara has slowed, but it's a really cool tool to discover interesting assets on the mobile application too. And to finish, we will talk about Drozer. Drozer is in my heart as MobSF is, because this is a really nice tool. So Drozer basically allows you to search automatically for you vulnerabilities and discover interesting things on the mobile application. So why it's really interesting? As we saw on the Android manifest XML file, we have a lot of components that could be interesting, as for example are the intent declaration. And with Drozer, you will directly be able to see if they're vulnerable or not. And how it works? Drozer lets you interact with those components by sending crafted inputs to trigger interesting things, as we will see. So how to do that? You first need to download Drozer through a pipe. After that, as you can see in the article here, you will need to forward a specific port for the communication, and you will need to download and install the Drozer agent, so you can you can directly retrieve it into the last release of Drozer. Okay, so now that I have everything, I'm running the command package ADX surface to detect if there is some interesting things. So as you can see, I have multiple interesting things. So in this video I will focus on the content provider exported part. So as you can see, we have 3 different content provider exported. And if I want to have a look to this content provider, I can use the command app.provider.info. So as you can see, I have the user profile, my contacts, and addresses content provider. So for example, if I run the scanner.provider.injection parameter, you will see that it will automatically scan on this content provider to see if there is some injection or not. And so as you can see, it detected multiple injections, so projection and selection injection, and it completely matched what we saw previously on MobSF. And so for example, if I decide to try an injection on the content provider addresses, as we saw just before, with a super classic SQL injection, you will see that it worked well, and I retrieve on the last column a secret. That's really interesting because by this way we have a proof that there is a local SQL injection that you can trigger with content provider. And yeah, so as you can see now, this is local because this is our own application. So how we could do to directly impact a victim. And so as you can see again in the Android manifest, this content provider is defined to export it through, which means that with another application we have the possibility to call this content provider. So what that means? It means that if I create my own APK, I can directly call this content provider with the SQL injection to exfiltrate the data, and after that I will be able to send those data to my webhook or a place that had control to steal the data of the victim. So yeah, so that's how we can do a proof of concept with a vulnerable content provider like that. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you discovered some interesting tools. I will recommend you to test those tools by yourself. Just go on the public programs of YasuHack, find a program that looks interesting for you, download the APK as we explained previously, decompile the APK, and use those tools to familiarize yourself with those and to see how powerful they are. If you have any kind of recommendation for the next video, feel free. And yeah, if you want to read more about this subject, everything is on the article we wrote on yasuhack.com, so feel free to have a look. Oh yeah, and don't forget to press the like button and to subscribe. See ya!